Hi everyone, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to this week's Mixed Media Soul Sparks. Every week I try and bring you some new ideas for creating some unusual mixed media techniques. Some of the basic ideas behind any work is working with color. And color is one of my very favorite things because when I see colors, or when I hear music, I see colors. And when I see colors, I kind of hear different frequencies. So synesthesia, it's a mixing of the senses. And I've always been very drawn to different colors. And one of my favorite combinations is using tertiary colors. Now, tertiary colors, so just a basic, quick lesson on your primaries. You know, you've got red, yellow, and blue as your primaries. So what a tertiary is, it is mixing like here's blue and violet. So you're going to have 6 tertiaries because these are your secondaries. So you're going to have blue, violet, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, green. Those are your tertiaries. Pretty much kind of like what this looks like. Here I started to take some different shades, tints, and tones. And I'm going to mix a few of these and give you an idea. But what I wanted to share with you today was, if you can look down on these, here I have used one color to create that tertiary. So you can buy what is considered a tertiary color. So here, this is Naphthol Red Light. These are golden fluids that I'm using for the most part. So this would be considered a tertiary, a red-orange. But you can also mix it using a pyrrole red and a pyrrole orange. So if you can see these two, they're very similar, slight differences. Here I've mixed my own yellow-orange. This is just straight yellow out of this bottle. So what happens when you start to mix your own tertiaries is that you have more control. Do you want it more red? Do you want it more orange than if you're using just one color straight from the tube, a la prima? So those are just some ideas. And working with these color charts are really helpful when you go to create paintings. But what I wanted to show you is mixing the colors in. Here's like a neutral gray, black and white. So when you get to your mixing stage, I'm just going to use a knife because otherwise my brush gets all clogged up. This particular color wheel I really like because it's very helpful to tell you how, let me flip this over. So here, let's take a look at red-violet. So here is the red-violet straight. This is mixed with white, this is mixed with a neutral gray, and then this is mixed with black. So you can see how wide of a range you can get with these tertiary colors. Now just think about it, if you were mixing up your own red-violet with 2 different colors, then you can even get a much wider range. So this color wheel is very handy. So I just want to show you, I'm going to mix up the phthalo, and I'll just put it over here. This is just way too much. I mean, this particular color, about that much is all I really need. Now if I take and mix it with white, this is the one I'm looking for. So I'm going to take this. Look at the difference you get when you have that dark color, which is the phthalo turquoise. You mix it with white, it really starts to show the brightness of it. Here it's very dark looking. This is why I used my knife. Now I'm going to mix it with the neutral gray. Again, a tiny bit of that. And I'm going to mix it here. It's not mixed in completely, but what a neutral color you're going to get compared to your bright colors. Then if I mix it with black, it's really going to look dark, so I'll show you a different one with black, because it's not going to, it's just going to look like black really. So I'll show you another one with the black. So let's look at the yellow green, because that one really changes. So I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this yellow green. And here I'm going to take a little white. I've got some of my turquoise wanting to go in there. But look at how it changes. It becomes almost like a yellow when you add the white. So this is a color that really can have a big variety within that one bottle, just the yellow green. Let's try it with the neutral. Again, just a little tiny bit of it. Mix it in with the gray. Maybe a little more. I got too much gray in there. Let's just add some green on top. And now I'll mix it with the black. So I'll just put a little dab of it over here by the black. And it's going to give me more of like an olive green. So you can make your charts and get a wide range of colors. Try doing it mixing up some other colors. I'll show you this one I'm going to mix up here. And it's going to be the, well, I'll see what I have. The blue violet. Now this blue violet is from TriArt, but you can get a blue violet. And dioxazine purple. So let me just grab my, let me grab some dioxazine purple. Again, that's another one that's very, very dark. Find a little spot to put it. And the blue violet. So now I'm going to make my tertiary using two different colors. If I can get this open. But you've never had this problem. There we go. This color is getting a little old. It's fairly dry. I just take a tiny dab of that dioxazine. It is so dark. All right, let's try it over here. Now if I compare this one to that one. So one was just straight out of the tube, the other one is a mixture. So with the mixture, I've got a little more red in here, I think. So I can control that. I like kind of doing my own mixtures because then I can get these nuances. But let's just take and make our mixture here with the white. Can you see that okay? Yeah. And now we're going to take it with the gray. So I have a little bit left here. Except I got a little blue in there, so that's okay. Might end up with an interesting color with that little hint of blue. And now we'll do it with the black. And again, just a tiny, tiny bit of the black on the tip of my knife. And here. So you can get this wide range of colors. Now here is my panel, and I can take some of these and just start to use up these paints. And what my challenge is going to be is to make sense of this crazy painting using my tertiaries. And I'll talk about, well, how broad of a ratio I might use of 2 colors. I don't have to use all 6. Maybe I'll use 3 tertiaries. But this is a way to evaluate your tones, your tints, your shades, how to get this wide range of colors. So perhaps I'll use 2 like this, and then perhaps a very bright red-orange like that. And make some charts and just make some notes like I did here, what colors I used. And you can probably see these pretty well up here, right, Andy, with the titles, or I can take photographs of them. And when you make your own charts and you have them for reference, then you can always come back and say, oh, I need an idea for a color scheme. And then you can pick and choose. You could even expand on this idea and add a gradation of whites, neutrals, and get this variation. So anyway, that's it for tertiary colors, my favorite color scheme to work with. Thank you for joining me this week, and take up your challenge and post your painting that you make with your favorite tertiary colors, and I'll post mine. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag MixedMediaSoulSparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.